From Original Crip World, I have 8 Trey. What up, man? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in LA, man, South Central, Western, and I've been back and forth from LA to Texas to Houston.
Okay. So 51, all right. So you were coming up in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, that was our time. The '80s, the '80s was crazy, but I tell people the '90s was crazier. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that was a time when you couldn't really walk to the corner store by yourself. It was just a hectic time.
Yeah, I think in 93 or 94, we had upwards of 2,500 homicides in one year in Los Angeles. And to give people a comparison, in 2021, we had almost 400. So if you guys think shit's crazy now, just imagine, like my man said, walking around back in the 90s, even as a civilian like myself, man, it was just, I remember there was gangs everywhere. Every corner, there were just a bunch of gangsters hanging out.
Yeah, you could I tell people back in the days, people walk around and even if you wasn't from a set, people would bang on you just because you had them colors on.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, man.
That was the time where we had to, we couldn't wear like Raider gear to school. You remember when they were banning Raider gear and
yeah,
big jackets and British Nikes, things like that, because it all had some sort of gang, ties to it.
Yeah, all them logos mean something. For every hood, there's a logo that represents them. You rocking them starter jackets, them British Knights, shit, even Fila, stuff like that. It was all considered gang related.
Damn, dog. That's crazy. And I tell anybody who visits LA, just if you're a fan of a sports team, just don't bring the hat. Don't wear your hat enough, because every damn sports hat is affiliated with some gang in LA, and you don't want somebody getting the wrong. And then
you could be rocking the A's hat, and it stands for something in the black community, then it stands for something else in the SA hood. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you gangbang?
Yeah. I'm from A-Trey Gangster Crip.
Okay. What? How old were you when you first hit the streets?
Man, I would say I started peeping game when I was around 12, but I didn't really get active till I was probably like 16 or so.
Okay.
But I mean, it was everywhere, even if you wasn't from the neighborhood, you was from the neighborhood, because if you grew up in, say, A-Trey Hood and you had to go to school somewhere else, you was considered A-Trey because that was where you was from. Same for like 60s. If you was from over there, even though you wasn't an active 60 member or related to somebody, you was from 60s.
So 12 years old. I would love to go back, to that time. What was going on in your life mentally? I mean, did you grow up mom, dad? Like, what was your upbringing like and all that?
Man, well, my father wasn't around, so I had cousins and uncles that was already banging. They was, from the neighborhood, and I used to hang with them, and that's what made me want to get in, really, on the cool. Like, I thought that was the thing to do, because everybody was doing it, even the square ass people,
Yeah, and the music that was coming out was making it seem cool. We had movies like Colors and stuff like that.
Oh.
What do you remember about Colors coming out?
Man, I remember when Colors came out. I mean, the line just to get into that theater, it was crazy. That securities, cops everywhere. You had Bloods, you had Crips, you had people everywhere. Something was supposed to go down, But man, that movie right there, it brought it out. It made it stand out because gangbang was already in the news, But when people saw Colors, it was like a whole nother level. It made it look good, It made it look cool.
Romanticized
made people want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my mom would not let me see it in the theater because of just all the backlash, and you always heard about shootings and things like that. But I got to see it at first time I ever saw it was on video cassette, and I think it was like a 3-week wait, dog, because everybody wanted to see it when it came out, man. And yeah, I just remember watching it like, damn, that shit's it's just so crazy because it's like I'm looking at a place where I live, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh shit, that looks like my neighborhood. I was in East Long Beach at the time, but
Yeah,
yeah, man, it was.
yeah. A lot of those people in that movie was real gang members. You know, there was only a handful of actors in there. You know, so it was like real. You know, because a lot of them weren't acting; they were just being themselves.
Put a quote up that says, "Don't call yourself the big homie if you're leading the little bros to jail or the grave." Can you
Yeah,
explain that quote?
yeah, like you know, like we all come up as little homies. We all got big homies. Some are fucked up, some are righteous, you know, but if you go down, you do time, and if you got love for this youngster, you don't want to see him walking that path you just took. You know, you've been to prison, you went away, you missed out some years. If you got love for the little homie, you don't want that for them, man. Like, I used to be the type of dude that would hand you a gun, like ride with me, not to be my crash dummy, but ride with me. Let's go do some shit. Now I'm the type of dude that be like, you need a job. Like I'm blessed with a good job right now. It's more like a career, and I'll say blessed. And that's what I mean by that, man. Like if you're really a big homie, like you don't lead your little homie to crash, man. You gotta look out for them people because these people are looking up to you like you some kind of god, you know. They want to be like you. They want to act like you. So if you got these people looking at you, man, lead them the right way.
What are some of the responsibilities of a big homie, in your opinion? If you know what I mean?
Well, to me, it's kind of different depending on your state of mind. You know, like as far as me, I'm not active anymore. So if I was an active big homie, I'd be like, hey, we got to ride on this. Hey, we got to take care of that. We got to push this. But I'm not active. I'm living a good life, and I try to get my homies a job, like where I work. Try to show them something.
That's what's up, right
The like I'm blessed with a good job right now, and I have a bunch of little homies that be like, hey man, give me a job, this and that. And I know some are good, some are bad. So I'm just gonna have work ethics in them, you know, because they weren't taught that. But I still give them a chance.
When you were back in the late '80s, early '90s, mid '90s, did you ever think you would be where you are right now?
No, man. Like I never had a job. If I needed shoes, I sold dope. If I needed something, I would go sell dope. I never ever thought that I would have I've had little jobs, but never in my life did I think I'd be like I am right now. Like I'm at a company. We do fiber optics, and I went in as a warehouse guy. I probably did that 4 months. They gave me opportunity. I'm a supervisor now, where we provide internet service for a good chunk of Texas and Louisiana. And I never thought I'd have a job like this, bro. It's some blue collar stuff, you know. I don't do no labor. It's all paper, match and stuff. But I never thought I'd be legit, to be honest. I didn't get my license until I was 30.
Wow.
Put it like that.
Yeah, that says a lot right there. Yeah. Yeah. What what changed in your head, you know, or in your life to make you say, you know what, this gangbanging shit is for the birds?
Shit, doing time, man. Being away from my kids, you know, like being away from my kids, just missing out. I used to see people on the same tier I was on, like, oh man, this homeboy's mom passed away. He didn't get to say goodbye, or somebody's kid, this and that. You know, just missing out on stuff like that, man, made me realize like this ain't what's up. And it wasn't the actual time, because like I tell people, doing time, if you're a strong motherfucker, you can do time, because weak people can do time. It's just how you handle it, man. Like the shit you're missing out on, because like I said, it was only 3 years and it wasn't shit. It wasn't shit, but the shit I missed out on, you know, that's what made me like, man, nigga, snap out of this shit, bro. Like, shit getting old.
In prison, are you guys like coming together as one, or is it still on site with your enemy?
It depends. Only if it's a racial thing, we'll click up. But as far as Bloods and Crips sitting at the same table, it it, it don't happen. Like you can have domino games, chess games, basketball games, but it always leads to something. So everybody's on that side and they're on that side. And like I said, if it ain't no racial shit, ain't no coming together.
Mm.
Like with the beef with the Tango Blast, when I was down there, I remember some shit happened and the Bloods came up and they're because down here they got treetops, they got all that just like in Cali, and they came to Crips and they were like, you know, shit go down, we're gonna back y'all up because it's us against all the other races and shit. But it like I said, when them other colors they outnumber the blacks down here, man. That's just a fact.
Gotcha. How much money, if you want to work a legit job, you know, behind bars, how much money are you making per hour?
Like as far as working in the jail, like
Yeah,
like an inmate.
inmates. Yeah, yeah. Like pennies,
Man,
right?
well,
Isn't it like pennies or something like that?
yeah, like I had one of my boys. He was a white boy. He was a five deuce Hoover. He was getting paid like 15 cents to be the barber, and I worked the kitchen. I was getting paid like 7 cents an hour. It ain't shit, man. It ain't shit. You can't even buy a stamp.
How many friends and family would you say you've lost to the gang life, if you could put a number on it?
Man, it's friends and family all together. I'd probably say a good. I'm gonna say like 60. Yeah, I mean, because you know we grew up in that time where you was earning them stripes. You was really trying to get your name made. So it was on site when you seen the enemy. So and then you know, like as far as family, I have an older brother. He didn't bang. I got a younger brother. He didn't bang. It's just like the black sheeps of the family. Me, my cousins, and a few uncles. But that was it, man. But yeah, man, about 60 or so.
Because you guys have a lot of former gangbangers have seen a lot of stuff that is comparable to, you know, army vets and people who fought in Afghanistan and Iraq and Vietnam and shit like that. But do you think the average gang member, former gangbanger, suffers from PTSD?
Yeah, see, I was telling somebody that too, man. I was like, you know, because I remember seeing something on TV about kids who didn't grow up gangbanging but witnessed it and them having that, you know. And I do believe that affects us as well, you know, because we were in that war and these motherfuckers stay shell shocked, you know. But and like the people nowadays, it's like I tell these kids now, like it's easy to be a soldier when there ain't no war, you know, because gangbanging what it is now, nothing like it was back then. Yeah, they walking around with big guns, extended clips, but for what? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I tell a lot of people, like, man, nowadays people ain't even getting shot. You got motherfuckers dying from heart attacks, car wrecks, you know, just random ass shit. So why walk around with a big ass pistol? You ain't gonna use it.
Man, let's talk a little bit more about original Crip world. I want to go back. You said you've been collecting pictures for upwards of like 20 years, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, I started fuck with the AOL and shit, but you know that was trying to collect money and stuff, so I left it alone. And then I heard of MySpace, and I have people in this new account that hit me up, and they're like, "Hey, bro, is this the same Crip World from MySpace?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because when we made it in MySpace, man, it became a link, bro. Like from coast to coast, man. Like people were linking for real, like through that page. Like I had I'm still in contact with Raymond Washington's daughter, Ray Ray, and at one point we had this guy claiming to be Tookie's lost son. I mean, he looked like him, he was all tatted up with his portraits and stuff. I think he was in Cincinnati, Connecticut, or something. But he had all these people claiming. He had all these people thinking that was Tookie's son, and he had it was original West Side Gangster Crip. That's the gang he formed, and he had all these people doing crash dummy shit. And I linked up with this fool named Snoop. He was West Side Gangster Crip from Brooklyn, and he's like, "Yeah, man, my big homie is Tookie's son, this and that." And I was like, "Well, let me meet this dude." And I met him, and I was like, "Bro, that's not Tookie's son. He has two sons, but that's not one of them." So I linked up with Ray, which is Raymond Washington's daughter, and there was another person involved in this. I can't remember right now, but we got down to the bottom of it where he wasn't no kinfolk to Tookie, you know, and he hated us for that. But like through that MySpace, through that Crip world, we settled all that. We like it was a link, bro. Like people were hooking up because you know you got people in New York that want to go to California because that's the land, you know, and they had no connections to nobody in the land, but through that account, people started linking up. Man, it was crazy, man.
What made you start collecting these pictures, and how do you do your research behind it? Because these are some dope, authentic, original pictures.
Yeah, man, I got a bunch of classics. Like I got some classics that people are like, man, I've never seen that, or like, damn, I remember that, but never haven't seen it in 20 years, 30 years. And I don't really know how I started collecting them, man. It's just one day I started saving them, and then I had people submitting them, and I told my boy, because I had a friend of mine helping me run it, and he's like, man, you should save all this, man. This is like, later on, there's going to be some history. And ever since then, man, I've just been saving them, and throughout the years, people send them to me. And I have people that have been fucking with me since the MySpace days that still fuck with me to this day. And they're like, hey, bro, you know, I got this, I got that. And I'll look into the pictures, and I'll try to reach out and try to find the people in the pictures, because if they're big hitters, you know, they're easy to find. And but my little book that I got, well, now it's on a laptop. Back then, the shit was written down. But I got all the little info with their, kind of like that, like a encyclopedia to the Crip world, you know. I would like to make a book one day, you know, with all this shit, like a little story behind each picture.
Oh man,
that'd be dope, man. That's why I've been collecting all these for the longest, bro. I got so many pictures, man. It's crazy.
Have you ever thought about doing a YouTube channel based around that?
I had one, but it got deleted, just like the Instagram. It got deleted like maybe a month ago, and then because I started that Crip World on Instagram probably 2013, and
why is it get deleted?
I don't know, man. I just recently seen a post where they labeled the Crips and Bloods as terrorists. I don't know if you've seen that floating around.
Yeah, I'm not
and that any mentioning of Crips and Bloods will be banned from Instagram and Facebook.
Damn, how long before it comes for YouTube, man?
But like 2013, I started the Instagram. Then it was up for about a year. It got taken down, and I took like a 6-year break, bro. And I finally made it, the recent one, because I even had people hit me up like, "Hey, is this the original one?" I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Bro, I haven't heard from you like in 6 years," and I didn't realize it was that long. But I feel like making another one on Instagram, but not naming it that, because I think that's how it gets targeted, you know. But I probably have to make it private, because I always kept it public. Facebook is more like lenient. That's why that shit's still up.
Damn, that sucks, man. But yeah, just keep collecting that history, dude. That's definitely some history. Maybe even do a podcast about it. I don't know, man. Something, dude. Something. Yeah,
I thought about doing a podcast, man. I thought about trying to do something with them pictures, man, because that's history, man. I'm like I tell you, man, I got pictures of OGs that don't even remember taking those pictures, and they're like, "Damn, that's fucking dope."
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already, And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
I'm 16 years old in the hall on trial for armed robbery and second-degree attempted murder. I had two co-deeds, both gang members like me. The three of us ripped the hall like pint-sized sticks of dynamite. Kaboom! Fist fights and gang activity got me and my homeboys separated. I pit stopped in a senior boys unit. Staff were bigger, meaner, and more aggressive towards boys. Orientation, 10 minutes of this and that talk by staff about programs, services, policy, procedures, regulations. I ain't have to listen, but I was cautioned to obey those in authority or get my scrawny ass kicked, locked down, personal property trashed. That form got my attention because these two black mofos, staff was muscle jocks with their sleeves rolled up and baseball caps turned to the back for action. I was poised for action as the day room flooded with boys for chow. Each kid walked a painted stripe on the floor with both hands pressed in county diamond formation behind his back. I saw the faces of dozens who already made the hall our home. They stared with piercing eyes, their faces rugged, and their stubble chins and mustaches of different shades, dressed in scrubs and worn karate-style shoes. Some boys slouched in picnic chairs, cornrows and afros matted to their heads. Others with green tats on arms and shaved heads. The aroma of soy taco meat and yellow corn shells interrupted my thoughts of fighting long enough to consider my stomach. I always got fidgety before I rumbled, like a nervous twitch. I had a history of violence with this kid LC. My gang wore red, his gang wore blue. Both handkerchiefs made in China. LC and me were mortal enemies in the street and the hall. LC sailed into the day room under a hot gust of wind of his own and sat right in front of me. I started fudging with my hands and pans as the heat rose from the soles of my feet to my head. We traded dishes. Suddenly, we leapt to our feet and locked like two angry rams. Staff rolled both of us in a flash. I got scoop slammed to the concrete floor by a grown man. I was drugged out of the day room by my legs. And in the hallway, one man chicken winged me and another dropped his knee on my lower back. The other man called me all kinds of assholes and niggers as he matrix punched on my head. I could hear LC beg for mercy somewhere behind me. The officer of the day must have been twisting him because he was the only other staff in the unit. My body contorted. Then I lay still. The shrieking stopped, and all was silent. It was over. I'd taken my punishment like a man and earned an overnighter in this jacked-up unit. My puffy eyes had to adjust to the dingy fluorescent light in the room. My bunk was only 2 feet wide and 6 feet long, a couple of feet above the floor. That night, I found Claude Brown, man-child, in the promised land. I rolled over on my side, the sharp pain in my shoulder surging through my chest. I sat up quickly, momentarily bewildered. I focused my thoughts. I opened the book and with it a window into the free world. I began to read what I could behind tears of rage and mistrust for adults in this prison society for children. I hated these uppity nigger staff who twisted my wiry little frame into a pretzel for laughs. The hate you gave, I give back to mothers when I kill. This is the cost of violence against children.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
When did you write that?
This is a collection over the last 5 years or so. It appears in Words I Never Got Spoken, Volume 1. And that was one that that's resonated with me because of what I went through, the physical abuse in juvenile hall, just coming through there and being just, treated like an adult as far as the way they manhandled me. And I was a little guy. I wasn't no more than 5'3", 5'5" most of my time in the halls, 140 pounds soaking wet. I would like to fight and run around and get into trouble. And I had grown men who looked like they played college football and baseball and basketball, putting a foot in my ass every time. and then locking me in a room to go think about it. I mean, my father didn't hit me like that. So it was just a traumatizing experience, what we call ACEs, adverse childhood events. It was one of my ACEs, man. It was walking through those halls and those juvenile probation camps as I did as a child.
What are some of the juvenile facilities you stayed at?
In LA County, all of them. I went to, first I started in San Bernardino County. I went to juvenile hall out there when I was 14 for an armed robbery. I ended up in LA County going to Central Juvenile Hall, Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall, Sylmar Juvenile Hall. Ended up going to Challenger. Went to Camp Smith, Camp Scobie. Ended up going to Camp Anazuka. Ended up going to Camp Gonzales. You know, I was all through the juvenile system. And it was just a repetitious thing with me. I was a hard-headed youngster, you know, and there was times in my home, even though I came from a good home, that I didn't want to be home. And I didn't want to be in the streets. So the halls became my home. And I didn't mind going back if I got caught. It would just be a dry out period for me to just run around, get some good food in my stomach, get some clean clothes on my back, and reset my mind for going back out into the streets and running amok. You got to remember, I went into the juvenile system in the 90s. I first went in 94. And back then, the gang situation in Los Angeles County looked a lot different than it does now. When I went in, the gang that I was from was a fairly large gang, and I always had homeboys at all of the halls and in most of the camp facilities. So as soon as I came in, I was always looking for my homeboys if I had not even come with them on the case. Most of the times they were my crimees. So we'd come in together, and from the time they put us into the reception unit, we throwing gang signs, we hitting fools up, we trying to get down, we trying to run up in your room, man, that was where you make that's where you have fun and make your little name. That's what we do. That's how I was trained, man. Get at them. Get at them. Let them know what that project life like. You know, now we was terrible. Terrible. It was just, I wasn't on the losing end of a lot of the violence that was going on. I was a small kid.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I was taught and told, get off first, you know, and then just ride with it, you know, and then there was other gang members that were allies with the gang that I was from that was always available to help. And I just felt like, man, I had all the courage in the world. Even when I would walk into a unit and I would be the only person from the gang that I was from, and I didn't have any home allies in there, and it was all rivals, man, I'm finna light it up. Get me up out of here. Send me to another unit where I do have homeboys or allies at. I'm finna, as soon as they crack the door, I'm finna get off. I was just a bad kid all around. No doubt about it. So I'm not blaming the staff. I'm blaming myself. I was a bad kid, man.
What gang were you jumped into as a child?
So as a child, I grew up in the Pueblo del Rio housing project, which is a housing project in the Central Alameda Corridor, also known as the Low Bottoms, the East Side Low Bottoms of Los Angeles. And so over there was a gang, and it's still a gang there, the Phi Deuce Pueblo Bishop Bloods. That was the gang that I joined. It was one of those situations where my grandmother moved to that project in July of 1964, and the rest of my family followed. So by the time I come along in 1979, born, I start running around in the 80s. These kids that I grew up with over there running around with, by the time we get to the 90s and we're teenagers, we're already associated with that gang over there because we go everywhere together. And when they ask us where are you guys from, we from that project. When we go to Huntington Park to go to the California 3 movie theater, wherever we go in the Roosevelt Park swimming pool, we're going to Ross Snyder's Park swimming pool. We're moving like a little gang, but we're just kids. Us and the homegirls. You know what I mean? So it's like, where y'all from? Where do y'all come from? That's what they're asking, not what gang you from. Where y'all from? We're from the Pueblos. And that happens to be the name of the gang. So by the time it was time to join the gang, I was already in the gang. There was even no need for me to even get jumped in the gang because all of my friends are already, either they got jumped in already or they just claiming it. And it's like, yeah, that's the homie. But I took the traditional route and did get jumped into the gang, and that just put me into a whole different frame of mind. You know, it's one of the worst decisions I ever made in my life was to join a criminal organization at 13 years old to make a decision that was going to affect me for the rest of my life as a child, 13 years old.
All right, Ali. Popular battle rapper Geechee Gotti was recently arrested in Ohio for basically robbing pharmacies. Now, what makes the story more interesting as of late is that an interview has came back to bite him in the butt that he did not too long ago on a very popular podcast called Queen's Flip. On this podcast, he talked about robbing pharmacies. I'm going to play the clip. It's about a minute long, just so you can get an idea. And then I want to talk about this Geechee Gotti situation.
In the car, like saying, always hear about me robbing the Walgreens, and at the time they get it. They're like, what you in there doing? And they got, like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? At the time, we in there trying to get the pills. You feel me? The lean, everything. That's what these is doing. That's what they popping. That's what they own. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's popping with, like, so we go get it. We booming. I didn't already did this before. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is so it's second nature.
So you a pharmacy robber. I'm feeling like, what? You pass your drink, you rob pharmacy.
No, I ain't gonna say I do. Listen, I did at that time.
Is it the old school way, like, or it's going in there while it's closed?
Yeah.
So that's Geechee Gotti, and that interview is coming back to bite him in the butt while he is sitting in jail right now facing some serious charges for robbing a pharmacy in Ohio.
Three-way call alert.
When you hear that type of story, what are your first thoughts?
I think about all of the young entrepreneur rappers, entertainers out there who have walked down a similar road and faced a similar fate, putting gang and criminal activity into their music, into their videos, into their social media accounts, and then catching the case. It can and will be used against you in the court of law. Now, the solution is not to hide the fact, to stop talking about it publicly. The solution is to stop doing it. Gang and criminal activity. They're going to use it. It doesn't make sense that a person would work as hard as these young people do to build a business, a multi-million-dollar business, to continue doing crime and gang activity that's going to destroy it all. It just doesn't make any sense to me, you know. But it brings me back to something that I think it was Boosie that said in reply to that girl Scarface last week, when he said, and I'm paraphrasing, sometimes people think that these rappers got more money than they actually have. Sometimes people think they got 50 million, 100 million, and they don't. Right? So that kind of gives me insight into why people are still engaged in criminal activity, even though they have a somewhat lucrative career on their hands. You know, they're building a business. You know, anybody that has a real team, agent, business manager, that sort of thing behind their brand, half of whatever they're making is going into taxes and agent fees. So if you see a kid like this, Geechee, you know, he might win a $50,000 pool at a battle rap. If he's got any kind of real team, half of that's already gone. If he's renting or leasing a Ferrari, living in a condo, half is already gone. If he's got multiple baby mamas, girlfriends he's flying in, he likes to stay in a hotel suite, then half of that half is gone. You wake up after, a week after the show and you broke or close to it. So I think we got to look past the contributing factors and the underlying issues and get to the causative factors, man. Poor money.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Poor money management and too much flossing.
Yeah. My boy Alonzo had a quote, and I would love your thoughts on it. He's a gentleman about 20, 25 years older than me, about 20-something years older than me. One of my best friends. He said niggas will ball out for 5 years to do 20 behind bars. What do you think of that quote, man?
I mean, I lived like that. When I was out in the streets and we were passing, hitting banks, my older homie that I was running with, he told me, live it up, homie, because it can be over any day. That was that BMF mentality. Blow it fast before they grab us. So I understand that. If I had any sense about myself, I would have never been in that lifestyle to begin with. Anything that ends with jail bars, that ends with an early death. So I get it. I understand it. It doesn't really equate though. And I always come back to that same quote that I shared, that when I went to the feds, there was an old man, an old bank robber from Louisiana. He told me, do the math. If you could have made that working minimum wage over the amount of years you about to serve, then your math ain't mathing, youngster. That hit me in the chest. That deflated all that little pride I had walking around the federal penitentiary talking about I'll be passing.
Man. You used to rob banks. You used to rob people back in the day. Can you talk to these kids out there about how easy it is to catch another charge, by doing something that they think is small as robbing someone or robbing a pharmacy or robbing a bank?
I mean, with the amount of surveillance there is in the world today, cameras everywhere, people with camera phones, just people out and about, it don't even make sense. That same energy that a person puts into trying to catch a case, they can put that same energy into staying out of the legal system and building an empire, brick by brick. I just think it's something that we're missing in our education, that allows us to see how to really build a foundation for something positive that's going to be legacy, that's going to be generational. We got the lingo down. We be talking about it, but I don't think we really have those tools in that education to really lay it down the way it needs to be laid down. Not when you have all of this talent, all of this opportunity, and then you risk it trying to rob a pharmacy, trying to rob a bank, trying to rob a person on the street. It doesn't make sense. How can you really know what it takes and have what it takes and still squander it like that? And I'm talking from life experience. I was that person. So, yeah, I'm qualified to say that. It don't make sense.
Chaos erupts overnight in downtown LA as a mob vandalizes businesses, trains, and police cars.
Turning now to a mob of people rampaging through downtown LA, tagging police cars and vandalizing metro trains.
Takeout News reporter Lauren Posen is downtown with the video and the damage left behind.
There's a lot of damage, and while it may look like this is a deserted strip mall, it's not. There's businesses here, and nearly every single business you're looking at has freshly tagged graffiti right on it. And so while this is where it all ended, it actually started right across the street from where we are. Pure mayhem in downtown.
Just mayhem.
A huge mob of people started tagging whatever and wherever they could Saturday night on Trinity Avenue near Washington Boulevard.
I remember we used to do that in the 90s. Before the 1994 crime bill came in. Yep, I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time before they start dropping those crazy laws. Keep playing around out there. Now you're all on camera. Back in the 90s, you weren't all on camera, so a lot of us didn't get caught. But man, there's cameras everywhere. And you think they're going to let this slide?
Watch as a group begins spray painting 2 Metro trains. Metro says around 50 people blocked the train's path, tagging not only the
We were
outside
doing
but
this in the
inside of
90s,
train too. A patrol
before the
car
94
hit
crime
an
bill.
officer trying to drive away. A person who witnessed the chaos says it happened right after LAPD shut down a rooftop event.
There was a show by Dead City Punk, and there was easily over like 3,000 people there. And
Oh, they were punk rockers turning up like this?
ended up happening.
Damn.
It got too crazy. It got too crowded.
One person at the show.
This was after a punk show.
That shows what he's talking about.
There was people with hairsprays, and then they had like
Hairsprays.
lights, so it was kind of like a flamethrower, basically.
LAPD showed up in riot gear and declared an unlawful assembly.
Damn.
The crowd didn't back down.
The reason why the cops started pushing
Oh, yeah, those
is
punk kids,
because
they
were
didn't play back in the
They
day.
were antagonizing them. They threw fireworks at them. They were throwing water bottles, beer cans, anything you can think of. They were throwing stuff.
Witnesses say
Damn.
police fired rubber bullets at the crowd, which eventually cleared out. People who were there admit it did get out of control, but they also say that's part of the appeal of these shows.
That's kind of like the
Damn.
energy of those type of shows. People are just gonna go there to just let out all the frustration and anger that they have built from life, family, society. There was a lot of
Because daddy hates me. Mommy hates me. Now I'm going to go trash the city. Oh, I can't stand you stupid kids. When we tagged back in the 90s, it's because we wanted to see our name up everywhere in the city. Now you guys go out and tag because your feelings are hurt because daddy doesn't left you and mommy doesn't give you enough attention. So I'm going to go wreak havoc on the town. I'm going to trash the whole city and I'm going to raid 7-Elevens. Oh, you kids nowadays would not last a day in the 90s. Yuck. Ugh.
damage done, and that wasn't right.
Metro says no one was hurt, but service was delayed about 20 minutes. No arrest either, but police tell us they're investigating. Reporting in downtown
Oh, yeah.
Los Angeles.
They'll get you.
KCAL News.
They're investigating, and they will get yo ass. But damn, a punk show? I wasn't expecting to hear that. Very surprised that was a punk show. Huh. Those punk rockers are still getting it in like that, huh? But yeah, no one was hurt, thankfully, but someone will be caught soon, and someone will pay for this. The city's going to get tired of all the money that they're spending on graffiti removal and people doing smash and grabs. They're going to get tired of all that. So you just wait. They're going to bring those 94 crime bills back, and yo ass is going to be in prison for 25 to life because you stole a Kit Kat from Circle K. We could still control this thing. Because y'all don't want to control it, though. Keep doing it, though, and you're going to be locked up for a minute. But what do you guys think about this mob where chaos erupted in downtown LA as they vandalized businesses, stores, police cars, graffitied everything? What do you guys think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. Comment down below before we jump into that. What are some of your favorite diss songs of all time? Talk to me. Comment down below. Post it in the comments. Let me know. And before we continue, hit that like button. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you kind of like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. Cheers. Another one I want to talk about comes from an MC that I would definitely take into battle with me. I would definitely take him into battle with me. One of the hardest to ever do it. His career didn't go probably as he would plan, but he does have a classic project. A really good project, actually. A very underrated project, if you ask me. But I'm talking about Can I Bus? And I'm saying it like that, but it's cannabis. But Can I Bus? Because that's how he want, that's how he meant it to be said. But second round knockout, when he went after LL Cool J, arguably one of the GOATs. This is a great song. And anyone who doesn't know the story, LL Cool J invited Cannabis to be on one of his songs. It's called 1, 2, 3, 4. Great song. I think Redman's on it. DMX is on it, right? Cannabis for sure. LL Cool J. Long story short, LL Cool J has a microphone tatted on his arm, right? So in the song 1, 2, 3, 4, LL Cool J thinks Cannabis is coming at him sly when he says something like, let me snatch that mic off your arm. I don't think Cannabis, being a newcomer and being on a song with the legend, LL Cool J, who was in fact a legend at that time, don't get it twisted, still is, but definitely was at that time. I don't think Cannabis would come on a track and diss. I truly believe he meant, let me get that mic from your arm, not off your arm. So LL Cool J thinks Cannabis is dissing him. So LL Cool J ends up editing his verse on the song to go at Cannabis on LL Cool J's own song. I know it's a little tricky, but the Beef series did a really good reenactment. They did a really good, what's the word I'm looking for? They covered it very well. Remember the Beef series? Beef 1, Beef 2, Beef 3, Beef 4, something like that? Those are some really good series. And they definitely played out really, really nice. Very, very well.
L was like a father figure in rap music. And I was just somebody who was coming in the game. I mean, I had done other records prior to 4321, but I was somebody who was coming in the game and was really looking for somebody to be under their wing and rock with them and tear the whole game down with them from the inside out. First thing I looked for was the mic. And when I saw it, I was like, damn, you know, when you see the mic and you know what it represents, you know that for anybody to put a mic on their arm, when they're saying that, damn, this is my life, or this is something that I do very well, something that I did very well and I'm doing very well, or, you know, it's a statement, because you couldn't see what was in my heart. If anything, you know, that should have seemed like something that was probably flattering.
One of the best parts about the song is the intro, I should say, and the interludes of the song, which include none other than the GOAT, the greatest of all time, in my opinion, boxer, in my opinion, Mike Tyson. Yo, Cannabis, man, what's up, man? I caught you on that cut with Wyclef, man. You were booming. But I caught these foul jazz niggas, man. You know what I mean? Talking about you the other night on the corner of the boulevard, man. I wasn't with that. But I ain't know you well enough to defend you, though, right? But you seem like you got true game. But peep game, man. They've been playing me my whole life, you know. I won the title a couple times. Did right, you know what I mean? But they can't hurt us, man. We gonna do it. Get up in this ring, man, and put these gloves on. Let me show you how to handle yourself, man. You don't got nobody out there with you. I got to show you, man. Sorry, if Mike Tyson will whoop my natural ass if he ever heard me. Mike, I love you, brother. You are the GOAT.
At the time, they were friends of mine. You know, he was able to get in contact with, another close friend of Mike's, female. And then she had a son. They wanted to work with me, so they took it to Mike. And when the son, Mike's sister, her son, so his nephew heard the record and heard my name and it was me. He was like, "Oh man, you gotta listen to what else he's doing." And he would throw that up, and Mike was like, "Oh man," I said, "All right, yeah." So it happened just like that.
He starts off with Cannabis is like, "So I'm gonna let the world know the truth. You don't want me to shine. You studied my rhyme, then you laid your vocals after mine. That's a B move, something that a homo rapper would do. So when you say that you platinum, you only dropping clues. I studied your background, read the book that you wrote, researched the food notes, how you used to sniff." I'm trying to be careful with some of the words I say, because once again, YouTube is foolish. When I say YouTube, I mean the censorship on YouTube is BS. Can't say certain things. But one of my favorite lines on this song, he said, because the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. God bless his soul, rest in peace, kid. It's because of him. Now I really know what beef is. Obviously talking about Biggie Smalls, the greatest rapper of all time, died on March 9th. God bless his soul, because LL Cool J is the one who coined the GOAT. I do believe LL Cool J was the first one to ever call himself the GOAT, right? Like now it's a universal word, but I kind of think LL Cool J was one of the first to ever coin calling himself the greatest of all time, right?
He walked up and he was like, yo, L, yo, your tattoo, man, like your tattoo, I'm gonna get one like that. I said, no, homie, you gotta get your own. We had that conversation. when I went in and heard his bars, he said, is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that. And I just I just did not understand.
And Cannabis was one of those guys, like I said, who I'm sure he wished his career would have went a little better, right? We all foreseen his career going a little bit better. Maybe releasing a couple platinum albums. Maybe even still being around, putting out stuff to this day. And I can't go any further without giving props to a very unknown project that Cannabis was part of. He's part of the Horsemen with Corrupt. It's Corrupt, Cannabis. I'm having a blank. Why am I having a blank? I should know this. Corrupt, Cannabis, Razkaz, and the other, Killer Priest. Corrupt, Cannabis, Razkaz, and Killer Priest have a group called the Horsemen. It used to be called the Four Horsemen, but I know they had a whole legal battle with trying to get the Four Horsemen name. So they just call themselves the Horsemen, and it's like HRSM or something like that. Check out that album. They put a really good project together a couple of years ago that was years in the making. Years in the making. They released it, and it is a very good project. Think about that. 4 MCs like that, huh? Cannabis, Corrupt, Killer Priest. Come on. And who was the other one? Why am I? It's this herb, man. I just started. I took a couple hits, especially this thing right here. 4 Horsemen and Razkaz. Dude, you got to check. If you don't know that album, you got to check that album out. But yeah, Second Round Knockout is definitely up there in my top favorite diss songs of all time. And LL Cool J, don't even sleep on LL, man. His pen was still sharp back then. He came back to back with a couple of joints that I would say rival Second Round Knockout. One was called Jack the Ripper. That was a good one. He went after him. Yeah, that was a good one. That whole feud was very, very interesting. And it showed at that time that, because LL Cool J had already been in the game, 10 years, 11 years? So in hip-hop terms, that's old, man. They were talking about LL Cool J being old in 1996. Can y'all believe that? And now LL Cool J is still here in 2024 owning Rock the Bells Radio and still releasing projects. Just did a song with Eminem. Like, LL Cool J is still doing his damn thing, man. And they were calling him old back then. So it was like this youngster coming at this old veteran. You know what I mean? LL Cool J was like, nah, homie, I'm keeping this. And LL Cool J, not really ever was one of my favorite artists, but I gave him so much props back then as somebody who was just, a fan of hip hop watching this. But Second Round Knockout, definitely. That's my second choice for tonight. But what about you? Like I said, comment down below. What are some of your favorite diss songs of all time? And please hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. All right, if you haven't hit that like button, why have you not hit it? Just smash it for your boy. I would really, truly appreciate it. But yeah, Second Round Knockout. That's another one that's on my list.